Well, hi everybody. Great to have you today. Thanks for joining us and another one of our Limitless Weoley Castle videos. I'm here with a friend today. Say hello, Abs.
Hiya.
Abs, it's great to have you. Thanks for joining us today. So you may well have seen Abs on our last video we did when we talked all about justice. You may well, Abs also visited us in the flesh once, didn't you? Not, she was closed, you're pleased to know that. She came along to our group just before we got locked down, didn't you, Abs?
Yeah.
So for those who maybe have never seen you before or don't know who you are, just give us a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, all those kind of things would be fantastic.
So I'm Abs. I am the youth leader at Encounter Church in Selly Oak. And I am also, so I do that part-time, and then I'm also a therapist. So I work with mental health, and I specialise working with 11 to 25s of various different mental health disorders and stuff. I live in Northfield.
Come on, place to be. Yeah. Come on. Right, so I've got a few either or questions. So I've not told you these before. So just give us your honest answer, your first reaction, okay? Okay. Pepsi or Coke?
Oh, Pepsi.
Book or film?
Book.
Good answer. Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor.
Come on. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Good job.
I thought you were talking about fruits. I was like, oh.
Those tasty Androids you get to eat. Facebook or Insta?
Insta.
Ooh, so I would say Facebook, but I'm an old person, so that'd be me. Okay, this one could be controversial. Okay. Birmingham or London? What first came to your head?
No.
You have to answer.
Oh no. Jamie, I can't believe you've done this. Well, from Birmingham.
Okay, yeah. Well done. I mean, Abs is from London originally, so
yeah, I was there for 18 years.
It's okay to say London. I wouldn't have judged you much.
My heart.
I want to tell your mum about this. Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Shower or bath?
Oh, shower.
Good answer. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Good job. And then lastly, McDonald's or KFC?
McDonald's.
Well done. Let's see. Well done. I was going to ask you, Jamie or Debs. Debs is my wife, but I was like, you would have definitely said Debs every time over. I'd have been a bit offended if you said Jamie, to be honest. I'd be like, what is going on? So.
Weird.
Right. Hopefully that's given a bit of an introduction. People get to know you a little bit and find out you're not quite sure whether it's Birmingham or London, but you said Birmingham, so well done. 10 out of 10 on that. Today, we want to talk a little bit about the whole subject of anxiety and what it is and what that means. Obviously, at the minute, we're still in this kind of weird season, aren't we, where we're kind of in lockdown, where people have maybe started to get back to some sense of normal, but it's still not quite normal, is it? I'm still working from home. There's still loads of probably some of the young people that are not in school. Some are maybe in school, but in small classrooms. So I think anxiety is quite a big subject in the minute. So, Abs, just as a first question, it's quite a big question, but what is anxiety? How would you kind of describe what anxiety is or what it looks like?
Yeah, so the first thing I like to think of with anxiety is that it is feeling as though a situation or problem is bigger than your capacity to deal with it.
Okay.
Or that feeling that you are incapable compared to what you would like for any given situation. So that idea can be like, I have an exam and I don't feel prepared. It can be in like its purest form, like there's a lion, it's stronger than me, it's going to kill me sort of thing. And so that kind of makes you feel a bit anxious. So then to understand it better, I think the physical element is more helpful. Okay. So if you're feeling anxious, what do you feel?
Like a bit frightened, a bit scared, a bit unsure.
What's your body like?
Maybe gets a little bit like your heart starts racing a little bit, or your palms start getting a bit clammy, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like just generally our thought processes get really hazy because the blood moves away from our brain. It comes into our body, so we get like tingly, our heart's beating a lot, pumping blood around. Sweaty is very common. Butterflies in your stomach because you stop digesting food. And so that experience generally is anxiety.
Wow. One thing I find interesting is that I've done a little bit of stuff on this, done some kind of mentoring stuff around the whole subject of anxiety. And it's interesting that when we think of anxiety, we think it is an illness, but actually it's an emotion, isn't it? Like you said, every single person it's experienced anxiety from, if you had a lion running at you, you're not just kind of stand there thinking, oh, this is nice, a lion's running at me. You'll be the emotion, the feeling of anxiety would come over you, wouldn't it? So obviously some people maybe suffer with it or have it heightened, but every single person has anxiety, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good. Okay, so that's good to establish that straight off. The next question I want to ask you is, so particularly those maybe who are struggling with anxiety, I mean, or it's been heightened because of lockdown, because of maybe feelings of being unsure about the future or whatever it may be, or just like the weird season we're in. How can kind of the young people that are watching this help themselves to deal with anxiety? What kind of stuff can they do, or what practical things can they put in place to help themselves to be able to deal with this anxiety?
So like how we said that when things seem like bigger than us, actually it can feel really hard to cope. Something like there's a global pandemic feels too big. So kind of your day to day to try and focus on what is within your control and what isn't.
Yeah.
So in any sense of worry or something, one of the first things I find really helpful is to put things into those categories.
Okay.
So, and some people like to write that down, you know, what is it that I can do? How can I look after myself? How can I look after my own family, my schoolwork, my blah, blah, blah. And to schedule in when you're going to do those things and then just forget about everything else.
Right.
So it just limits really your mind's ability to just keep going on and on and on with lots of different things. And so, yeah, I call that a worry tree. It's like a decision-making tree. Is this something I can do something about or not? And that really links in with sleep as well, because we find actually when we lie down, all the things that we're thinking about kind of just resurface. Like sometimes people find it really hard to sleep if they're feeling more anxious. So another really good way of helping with that is maybe a few hours before that, like dinner or whatever, to give yourself the opportunity to think about what's going on in your mind, so that you can then decide, you know, okay, this I can do stuff about, this I can't. So I'm just going to put that to one side. And make a plan for the next day and crack on. And so in that kind of sense, like, it sounds really, really obvious, but like you were talking about with anxiety being an everyday experience and like emotion, actually how we live our everyday life really affects our level of anxiety. So if we're people who, like, our body can't really predict what we're going to do next, it becomes quite anxious. So I'll explain that. Like, if you get up at different times every single day, you eat at different times, you sleep at different times, your body will be slightly more anxious, just because you can't even predict what's going to happen in your body. Your energy's all over the place. So really simple things, like the things that parents say to like babies, like we wake up at this time, we eat at this time, we sleep at this time. That rhythm can be really helpful for staying calm. And then talking to other people. So I mentioned writing down worries. That can be really a lot simpler in a conversation. I'm a Christian, so part of my conversation, I do that with God sometimes. I'll literally be like, I can do these things, but I can't do any of these things, so you're gonna have to sort that out. And move on. And just making it clearer to yourself what's going on in your mind.
That's so good. Well, one thing I found a little bit, like, some practical things that I try and do myself is like limit the amount of time I'll go on social media, because I think that really can heighten, can't it, like our anxiety. Like my phone, I've got where basically all my apps shut down at like 10 o'clock at night, and they don't open up again till 7 in the morning, apart from maybe one or two that like messages and my Bible app, the two that I keep on there. And then stuff like that just means that I'm not constantly looking at what's going on in the world, what's happening in the news, what's happening in social media, all the stuff which bombards us. And actually, before you go to bed, that stuff isn't helpful, is it? Like, try and shut down and actually the light, something to do with the light on your phone.
So phones have blue light in them, which is like the full light spectrum that the sun has. And so that just makes your brain think it's daytime and that you should be productive and doing something. So if at the same time you're trying to lie down, like, you're confused, basically.
So the worst thing you could do then, if you couldn't sleep, it's just open your phone, isn't it? It's like looking at your phone, scrolling.
Yeah.
That's just going to be like, way, having a little party, you know, it kind of wakes you up a little bit, doesn't it? So,
Yeah. 100%.
okay, that's great. Abs, thank you so much. It's been really helpful. And hopefully some of the stuff that we've talked about today, young people, that's going to kind of help you in your own life and just get you thinking. And actually the biggest thing to remember is that all of us experience anxiety from time to time. And so you're not like different to anybody else. And if there's any stage when you're really struggling, like Ab said, talk, or if any of us as kind of the leaders can help you and you want us to get support or even for us to pray for you, please let us know. We'd love to be able to do that. So Ab, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And I will see you again on one of these conversations, one of these videos. I have a new one coming out each week. Take care. God bless. Thank you.